Director's Reflections for April 24th of 2022. This is how we made a newspaper when Google didn't exist. Before the technological marvel of Google became the data search engine of choice, its practical equivalent in the old newsrooms was the collection of newspapers, or alternatively, a pack of folders crammed with paper clippings. When it was necessary for the editors to search for the background of a story or everything that had been published about an event, a play, a character, he had to go to the archive department, to the library of the newspaper to ask for the corresponding portfolios. There was no way to do an advanced search, as Google now allows, but to quickly glance through archive clippings or the original pages of a print edition and try to locate the data you needed. This procedure involved time for the editor, but it was the most reliable source of knowing the background of a news item. Of course, working with a mountain of documents or a bound book from a broadsheet newspaper was complex, but we had no other choice. We had no form of copy-paste or reproduction of text to integrate it into a note because the typewriters of that time, the digital processors of today, could not export any content. For the time when these were the usual tools of a more manual than automatic journalism, the rush to write news was not a pressure factor as it is today, and thanks to the internal organization scheme, each article passed through many eyes and filters before of its final impression. There were editors who used to place carbon paper between those sheets of 8.5 by 11 inches to preserve copies of their news, usually written with 2 spaces between the lines so that the proofreader could make changes by handwriting with a pen. Thus scribble and title with a band. They would send to the composer so that he could format another text on a perforated tape. This tape was then placed in a reproducing machine, printed it on a white galley that was later reviewed by the proofreader. If the proofreader found grammatical errors, he would then use a scalpel to remove the mistakes, typing the correct words on another machine, cutting them out, and placing them in the gaps with a sticky tape underneath. Once ready, the designers cut the galleys so the edge, smeared glue on the back, and fixed them on square pages of the original size of the newspaper. And from there, they went with the respective headlines to the photo print cameras, whose negatives were shaped into metal plates, and this finally were adhered to the rolls of the rotary presses until finally they were printed. That's how we made a newspaper when Google didn't exist. For Listín Diario, voiceover and translations by Indira Rodriguez.